Hi, my name is Ben Charles, PGDA number 102626, and this is my 2018 Team Trilogy in bag. Starting off, my putting putters. Main putting putter is going to be the Dynamic Disc Classic Blend Deputy. Connected with the Deputy from the day I picked it up at the Trilogy Challenge. Missed my first putt because it was so much straighter than what I was used to, and then for the rest of the day didn't miss a putt inside the circle, and been rolling with that one ever since. One thing I have done though is added a Classic Blend Judge in so that if there's any time that I need to worry about the wind, I pull that one out and no longer have to think. Coming up to my approach discs, this is the very first Trilogy Classic that I ever ordered. It is a Classic Blend Judge. I got it at a 2-disc challenge 2 years ago. That's what started off the Trilogy for me, and then just been going with it ever since. That Judge for me is just laser straight. Whenever I need to use it for an approach shot, no fade, it's been beat in to the point where it just stays straight, lands nice and flat. If I do need that fade at the end, I go to a Classic Blend Harp. Added that one in about a year ago, and it's just been working for me ever since. Continuing on with the putters that I throw now, they're probably the 3 newest additions to my bag. Starting off is the Moonshine Deputy from the Winter Marksman League. Got this one off of local pro Jason Smith down here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Got that one to me, thrown it a couple times, and it's just exactly what I'm looking for. A lot around here is especially some tight alleys in the woods, and it just works perfect for that. My other thrower that I got, bought off of Tina Stenitis and Eric Oakley, the Team Whale Pants Stacked Hybrid Judge. This thing, just like my putt and approach soft judge, is just laser straight. This one has just a little bit more hookup at the end, so that if there's a little bit of wind, I can still trust it. Just works beautifully for me out on these courses for anything inside of 300 feet that I know I want to approach. This one is easily becoming my top thrower for putter right now, is the Tournament Plastic Small Hand-Eye Stamped Harp. It can handle all the torque I put on a throwing putter. Just works perfect for what I'm looking for out of those types of putter off the tee shots. Working up into my mid-ranges, I do throw these quite a bit. Starting at the most understable is the Lucid Warrant. This one for me is exactly what you want out of an understable mid-range. Nice straight out of the hand on a hyzer flip, and then rides to the right and never really wants to come back at all. If I do want it to come back just that little bit at the end and land flat, I have the Lucid Truth. Along with that soft judge, this was the other one I bought at that 2-disc challenge. Been throwing them both strong. They're about the only 2 that I've bought in the last 2 years that are still in the bag that haven't gone swimming or lost in the woods. So that one I trust quite a bit. Next 2 are the EMAC Truth. For me, it's actually kind of funny. The Moonshine EMAC Truth is actually my laser straight, doesn't really hook up at the end. This one I'll throw, for that same type of shot that I'd throw the Judge on, but further out to about 350, 325 is where I'm really comfortable at. If I need just a touch more stability, I have the dyed EMAC Truth for just that straight little bit of hookup at the end. If I have to worry about the wind a little bit, the one I go to is the Trilogy Challenge Pine. But again, just like the EMAC Truth, just with that little bit more stability that I'm looking for if I have to worry in the wind. If I'm hitting those really windy days or mostly utility shots, this is where I have the Prime Justice. This one is just extremely board flat. Luckily, I have kept it away from most trees, so it's not too beat in yet. It still does very much what you expected Justice to do. Working my way to the fairway drivers. My roller disc, as of now, is the Goldline Jade. This one's a misprint disc that I got around Valentine's Day a couple years ago as a gift from my fiance. Didn't really like it out of the box, but the more I've kind of progressed and learned to throw a roller, it's the closest thing I have to being consistent, but that's still a spot in my bag that I'm trying to work on and fill right now. Next 2 are going to be Lucid Convicts. This clear one happens to be just a little bit more understable. I'll throw it, It'll stay nice and straight, even ride to the right a little bit and land over there on the right. This matte white one, this pearly white, just goes straight almost the entire time, just a little bit of fade out at the end. Really nice controllable shot. The newest addition to my bag, and probably my most favorite right now that I will be getting more of, is the special X Blend, or not the X Blend, sorry, the Goldline X Explorer. This thing for me is just straight to a heavy overstable finish. I'll get a little bit of skip out of it, but just love how controlled it is. I trust this thing in the wind. Headwind, even a nice stiff headwind, it'll hold nice and straight for me, and I don't have to worry about flipping that one over. My next two are going to be the Criminal. The first run Lucid here for me is my only Trilogy ace that I have so far. This one for me is the very heavy hooking backhand shots. Usually play for a nice big flare skip, and that's actually how I got the ace on this one. And then this is kind of my main forehand disc. I am not a forehand player at all, but at least with the Biofusion Criminal, it's got a nice flat top for me to grip it really nice. And even with my terrible forehand shot, I'm not going to be flipping over that Criminal, so it works perfect for what I need it for. And lastly, my distance drivers. Again, going from understable to my most stable. Starting off, I have this Misprint Tournament Plastic Sorcerer. This one for me, kind of like the Warrant, is a mid-range. Throw it on a little bit of a hyzer, flips up to flat, and then rides to the right, and I never have to worry about it coming back at any point in its flight. I will not pull this one out on a windy day at all, but if I have any kind of a tailwind or a nice calm day, I can get some really nice controllable shots, and when you don't have a good forehand, it's really nice to have a trusty, dependable Anheuser type of disc. Next up is a Misprint Opto Ballista. This one for me, similar to that Sorcerer, will flip up, ride to the right, but what's nice is I don't have to worry about this one ever turning and burning. It's got just enough fade at the end to kind of land flat for me, and keep, for me, a nice controllable shot out to the right off of an Anheuser type backhand. Next two are my longest flying discs, and those would be the Trespass. The Lucid Trespass is going to be a little bit more overstable, has a nice heartbeat dome to it, kind of hard to see on the bad video, but this one was actually my fiance's disc. For her, it turned out to be just a little bit too beefy, but for me it was just a nice step up from this MyDai one that just worked really, really well. Hold that really nice little S-line, controllable turn with a nice bendable fade at the end. These are definitely my furthest flying disc that I have. This one here I got printed up with my dad's Karate Studio logo on it, and just love it. It's just got just enough of that understability that I can get some really good distance on it. And then my last is the Defender. I have two Biofusions, mainly as a backup for these, but this blue one here is the one that I'm working on beating in. When I do get it beat in nice and dependable for me, that'll probably work the Trespasses out of the way, but until then, this Biofusion is just kind of my workhorse. If I need something that I know I can trust, especially on a windy day, this is the one that I'm going to pull out. The Page Pierce one here for me, just a little bit more stable. Try to not use it as much, so I have one that's nice and clean. This is one that if I need to forehand a little bit more distance than that Criminal, this is kind of my go-to here. I'll use it on a backhand on a windy day when I want the same type of flight out of the blue one, but just don't quite get it. And then this one is my meat hook. I'd put it right up there for me with the Justice. But this is a Lucid Defender, that milky pearly white Lucid that just is a meat hook. This is the first Defender I bought, and without the encouragement of a couple friends, this would have been the last one that I bought because it was so overstable I didn't think I'd be able to ever drive with it. Luckily, someone talked me into trying the Biofusion plastic and loved this one. But this thing for me has come to save me in a couple tournaments where the winds would just get way up, and I needed something that I knew I could trust because of OB on the side, and this was that disc for me. That's kind of it for the disc. I carry a Junior EMAC Truth. as my mini marker, and then carry the Commander bag as kind of my bag of choice the last couple years. Thank you.